In this video, I want to show you how to use the Care Services Network. And this system is very easy to use, it includes accurate and complete reporting, and is secure and reliable. If you were ready to report notes, what you would do is come up here to log in, and you'd be given a username and password, and you would type it in here. And this is the Care Services Network application. Okay, and basically what this does is it gives staff the ability to track day-to-day interactions with clients and patients from any smartphone, a tablet, or a computer. Just depends on what you have handy at the moment. What this will do is it'll significantly increase the reliability of the data you're getting because it's entered in real time instead of when the staff turn their paperwork in at the end of the month. And more people are starting to carry smartphones on them at all times. So if you had a smartphone on you, what you could do is come here, and this is a mobilely optimized website, so it displays very nicely on your smartphone, and then you can just enter in progress notes, any body assessments or behavior tracking or whatever it is that you may need. It has full functionality of the website here. So that makes it very easy to use for all your staff members. A couple useful features about the Care Services Network are the fact that it includes reports that you can not only track staff data entry, but you can also track client progress over time. So it makes it very fast to make sure that your staff's doing what they're supposed to, and also you can take a quick look at how the clients are doing. And also, it has alerting capabilities so the management's notified if staff hasn't entered the data in a specific time frame. So for example, if there was a staff member who hadn't entered in any data in 2 days, their supervisor would be notified about that. So now let me show you some of the features that we have on the Care Services Network. So you have progress notes, body assessment, behavior tracking, incident report, pickup and drop-off times, and the medication log. Okay, so what you can do for any of these is you can click on the Add button right here, and then you'll be brought to the next page where you just want to choose the client. If you have a date, you can put that in there, and then put in whatever notes you have, and then click on Submit. And then you can always click on the Home tab to get back to the home page. And then, of course, what you can do also, you have the View button here, and you can filter this by different clients and different date ranges. And then you can also print these reports, so it makes it very easy for the staff members to be able to submit their reports at the end of the month. And if you wanted to edit or delete a note, you could come over here and delete it, or if you wanted to edit, you could click on the pencil, and then you could come down here and just type in whatever your note is and submit the form, and that updates it there. Again, we'll go back to the home page, and then we'll click on Body Assessment. And then you can see that you choose your client again, and then date of activity. And here's a really awesome feature of the Care Services Network. You click on yes when you see an injury, and it gives you this drawing, and then you can pick where the injury was. So say it was on the arm, you would just click on arm, and then click on OK. And now it's selected there was an injury on the arm, and then you would type in your notes. And if this was urgent, basically you would just check this, and then the supervisor is immediately emailed for review on this actual note right here. So that's a very fast way to communicate with staff and supervisor. So if there's anything that needs to be checked out immediately, this is the way to do it. Now if you needed to edit or delete a body assessment, you would kind of do the same thing. Here is the delete button and the edit button. You just click on that. You could come down here and type in whatever it is that's changed and then submit the form again. So then, of course, we'd come back home, and if we wanted to check out behavior tracking, we'd click on the Add, and then you'd select the client again and then put the date, and then you would just go through and select which ones they were. So if he wanders occasionally, he has regular sleep disturbances, he disrupts occasionally, and he has resistive, uncooperative behaviors on a continuous basis. Then you could just submit the form, and then that would update the records there. And then if you wanted to edit or delete a note about behavior tracking, you could do the same thing, where you come here and you could delete one or you could edit it. So if you wanted to click on edit, you could change it to maybe it was verbally inappropriate on a continuous basis, and then just submit the form and it updates it there. And then finally we have the medication log. So if you would click on this, you could go to John Doe and the date of activity, and then it lists all the medications taken, and then you could select which one it is and how many milligram, milliliters, or any of the other units here, at what time it was taken, at what interval, if there's any notes, and if it was urgent. So that's really the overview of how you would have staff submit notes. And then you'll see that there's a graph down here that lets you track the staff members' activity and whether they're entering their data in or not. So it gives you a quick overview of how well each staff member is doing. And one final thing about the staff login, so what you can do is click on Reports and come down to Client Performance, and then you can choose which client you want and then click on Go, and it'll give you this very nice looking, easy to follow graph that lets you see how they're doing on just a quick glance basis. Okay, so now let's come back here to the home page, and you'll see another graph down here, and this is basically just a graph to let you see how each staff member is doing. And again, at a quick glance, you can see what data they're submitting and what data they're not submitting, so you can see if they're doing what they're supposed to be doing or not. Okay, so let's log out now and go to the manager section, and I'm going to show you a few things there. Okay, so here we are logged in as a manager, and you can see it's fairly similar except for it has the add staff option and add clients, and there's no add buttons for all of these sections. What you can do for all of these is you can view all of them, but you can't add anything. Okay, so first let's check out the add staff, and what you would want to do is just click on the add button, and then you would come to the staff entry form and you could enter in their name, their abbreviation, what agency they're with, their street address, and any sort of username and password that you want to give them, and then you would click on submit. Okay, so let's go back, and now we'll add clients, and you would put in their name, what agency they're with, their street address, and phone number. And a really unique feature of the system is you can assign each client to different staff members, and then you just click submit form. So now I want to show you a really handy feature of the manager view. You would click on the view for any of the different categories. Okay, so once we come here, you have a lot of different ways to view this information. You can either view it by all staff members or a certain staff member, and by all clients or a certain client. And then you can filter the dates depending on what you need to see, and then whether it was urgent or not. And then you would just click on go, it would filter it down here, and then you could either email these or print them, whatever it is that you needed to do. So that's a really nice feature of the system. And now once we come back to the home page, we'll click on reports, and you can have the staff data entry where you can choose which staff member and which client, and then you can filter these by any dates that you want, and then you would click go. It defaults to 60 days, but you can do it for however long of a time frame you want, and that way it just helps you to see if your staff members are actually filling out their forms or not. Then finally up here again we have the client performance where you choose your client and then you go, and it gives you a quick overview of how that client's doing on all these different categories. Now when we come up to the map, what we'll do is click on one of the agencies and it'll bring us to this map. And what this basically does is it just plots out where each of your staff members are and each of your clients are on this map. As things come up and certain people have scheduling conflicts and they can't pick up their clients, what this system does is it lets you know what other staff members are in their area that could possibly pick up these people. And something else that's really nifty about this is you can see right here it has a number under the name, and then over here he also has a number. Back when we assigned the different clients to each staff member, this is the number that lets you know that John Doe and Jane Doe are both assigned to Earl M over here. So that way it helps you just keep track of things a little bit easier when you're looking at the map view. Finally, I want to show you how this works a little bit more in depth on a smartphone. And this is very important because, as I mentioned earlier, more and more people are carrying smartphones and tablets on them at all times, so being able to access this software from your smartphone makes the data always more reliable because they can enter it right as it's happening and it's still fresh in their minds, whereas if they're reporting at the end of the month, they might forget things. Okay, so if we were going to enter in a progress note, what we would want to do is click on the plus sign here, and just like before, you would choose the client, the date of activity, you would put the notes in, and whether or not it was urgent, and then you would just submit the form. And that's as easy as it is. It's super simple, fast to use, and it makes sure that all of your records are always going to be the most up to date. Care Services Network is committed to streamlining the healthcare process, and we do this by using technology to optimize data collection, improve information accessibility, and achieve transparency powered by the internet. So basically you can go from paperwork to paperless.